Well, hello and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays this week. So, hope everybody's good and having a good time. I'm echoing. Hold on. One second. Got an echo going. There we go. Much better. I hope everybody's well. I am in YouTube. I'm in YouTube, so forgive me. I hope everybody's well. Having a good night. Had a good week. In a little bit. Before I start or after, depending on what goes on, I'll let everybody know what's going on. Gemma will be back probably about the beginning of the new year. She's, holidays and everything. She's caught up. And then on top of that, she's sick as poor thing is sick. I was going to say sick as a dog, but she's sick. I mean, she's feeling it. And this is like the third Christmas in a row, this poor girl. So hopefully she's better by tomorrow, or at least by the beginning of the week. So keep her in your thoughts and give her a little healing love. She would appreciate that. Also, don't forget to donate and check. It always helps. It helps the channel. It helps her a lot right now, especially. So yeah, I will be not streaming on Wednesdays anymore for right now. We'll see how things go. Right now, it's crazy here. A lot going on, and a lot going on with me. I'll talk about that here in a little bit too. I might as well go ahead and do it now since I'm just kind of dealing, because I'll start the replay about, I said 12:20, so that's when I'll start it. What's going on with me? Does it sound pretty good now? I'll probably regret it here in a little bit. A lot of you know that I have movement disorder or Tourette's. They're still trying to figure that out. I still get different opinions, but the majority think it's a movement form of Tourette's, but like a tic. But I've had it since I was 2. Well, it's kind of took a toll on my body, but I'm good. And that turned out to be a lot better than I thought, because that's something I'm going to have to deal with no matter what. And it's going to get a little worse as I get older. Excuse me. But the real problem is my esophagus. I have Barrett's esophagus. Some people here may know what it is, some may not. But it's gotten worse. And so I'm going to go in and have it try to be fixed. They almost fixed it once. But the problem is some of that it's causing other issues in my neck and around my vocal cords. So talking is becoming more and more, I wouldn't say a burden, but it's definitely been a pain lately. We've noticed a lot of differences. My voice will go up, then it'll go down, or it sounds like I've got gravel in my mouth when I'm trying to speak clearly. I mean, I've always had a problem getting words out because of the Tourette's, but now it's becoming more difficult. There are some days I can't talk. Some days I'm stuttering just to get words out. It's gotten kind of intense lately. So I'm just waiting to hear back from the doctors on how we want to approach this. So my streaming will be limited to this and whatever I do with Gemma. So if I'm with Gemma and I don't say a whole lot, just know that's not because of her. It's because of me, because my voice isn't working great. And I shouldn't have to come in and say, hey, guys, I'm not talking very good. I'm more or less going to be kind of like her moderator if I'm around. Okay. Usually by this time, I can barely talk, but today was a quiet day. And I've been, take this stuff that kind of, I suck on it and it makes it's kind of weird, but it coats my throat and makes my vocal cords a little better. So, but right now, you just got to bear with me. I hated missing Wednesdays, and I've missed quite a few. And I missed last Saturday because I wasn't feeling good and could barely get a word out. So I don't mind doing Gemma's replays, because once the replay starts, it gives me a break. And you guys can talk and chat, and I can talk and chat with you guys. Now with 2 chats running, because you got to remember there's 2 chats running. There's one on the kind of iPhone, phone one, that's the small one, and then you'll see the little thing, whatever you're using, like an iPad or whatever, and then the actual PC one. I call it the PC one. So I'll try to flip back and forth, but if I don't see you, that's probably why. I try to greet everybody. I do see people come in StreamYard. It shows me both chats. It even gives me little logos on which chat it is. So just give me a minute to switch over and run a video. But I'll use the Gemma replays, because like I said, I don't talk a whole lot during the actual video anyways. So it gives me a kind of chance to kind of hang out with you guys and talk. And then when we stream, when we get back to doing Friday streams, and it will be paranormal and, fun stuff. It'll be entertainment, paranormal, and maybe some missing persons stuff, unsolved cases. She kind of wants to get back into that, so be aware of that. If you guys remember, check out her Tuesday night premieres. It will be either Tuesday night or Wednesday nights, whenever she can get it done. I'm usually there. The last 2 times I missed, but I didn't really miss. I just couldn't talk, because one time I was on the phone with Ashley, my daughter, and then the other time I was watching the rest of Derry. I blame myself for that one. So, but I was watching. I had you on, and I was watching Derry on my other screen. I didn't want to stop it because I wanted to see the end. So, of chapter 1. So here in about a couple minutes, I'll go ahead and start, since there's only 2 of us, or 3 of us. I guess I am in, so I guess it's just me and one other person. But yeah, please hang around if you come in. Leave a like, please. That's all I ask on either one, and I'll do my best to keep up with you folks. And we'll go from there. I don't know who's with me now, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. But I am going to just keep doing Saturday nights as long as she's good with it, and I bring in little views. I know a lot of times I bring in views afterwards. I get replays of the replays, which I get a giggle out of. And it's kind of cool. At least I know they come in and watch the video, so I'm back down. That's all right. Anyways, other than that, I'm going to give it a couple minutes, and while I'm sitting here by myself, I'm going to do some switching around and get ready to get this running, and I'll be right back. Well, I'm here. I'm actually not going anywhere, so I'm going to pop this up and get it ready. This was one I did, I think, last year too, and I'm going to do it again this year because it's a Christmas one, and she actually did it on Christmas. So that's the scoop. Make sure you check out her shorts. They're always fun. They're enjoy. I do watch them. I haven't been leaving a whole lot of comments because a lot of times, by the time I get to anything, it's late at night. It's just crazy. So there's that. Please make sure you like them. Leave a comment. I got to get back to leaving comments too. If things slow down, it will be a lot easier for me. So yeah. So that's the scoop. So bear with me. The gasp for air, my esophagus swells up, and I don't want to make this about medical stuff. So that's why I try not to. And I try to keep my personal stuff to myself. But you guys should know this, because I think you've known over time that I've been having problems talking. I've made it clear. A lot of people say I do pretty good. I'm glad I do. But sometimes I can feel it in my throat, and it gets kind of a little rough sometimes, and it gets a little painful. These streams will go an hour, maybe an hour and a half tops. And let's see what else. I'm trying to make sure I get everything. So please stick around. Keep an eye out for her premieres. And like I said, I will be, as long as everything's good with her, I will be here on Saturday nights to do Gemma's replays. So let me set up this. The next one's ready to go. And I think we're going to go ahead and start it to give that a little dry. Drinking tea, and it's good. It's just not doing what I need it to do. But I also have water. And it's ready to go. I think it's 15. It's 15 after 12 now. So I may start it about 5 minutes early. That's weird. Okay. Trying to figure out what's going on. Oh. Okie dokies. Let's see. That's better. All right. And we'll get this thing a rocking. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. Folks, I'll make sure I leave some comments in the both of them. And I'm just going to go ahead and start this. Let me get it up on the screen. Me small. I'm too big there. Get up on the screen here. There we go. Move me down to the bottom here. There we go. I'll make her full screen. And we'll get it rocking. There we go. Oops. That's because I'm. There we go. Okay, make sure everything's good to go. If anybody has any problems hearing this, please let me know. And here we go.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is GemmaJade, but today I'm going to be having a little bit of fun with some scary Christmas legends. Guys, this is just for fun. Some of the facts may be wrong. This is not something that I researched like I always do. It's just kind of a fun Christmassy video. So Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I apologize, but I'm sure you can get a kick out of this too and just have some fun with it. Fun, 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 guys. That's the theme of the video. Well, here we are, my gemstones. It seems as though Christmas is upon us, and honestly, I can't believe it's here already, right along with 2022. This season's a time for celebrating with family and friends, gift giving with loved ones, and a warm and gentle fire going while the kids gather around with their hot chocolate, listening to Christmas music, or in my house, watching A Christmas Story over and over and over again while it plays for 24 hours on whatever that awesome channel is that does that every single year in the United States. However, I'm Gemma Jade, this is my channel, and I always like to do things a little bit differently. Therefore, there will be no Maids of Milkin or Lords of Leapin in this video today. Oh no, I am here to bring you some of the more scary legends of Christmas. Some Santa Claus figures, maybe, who by all means probably let on their resumes to get the job of the jolly old elf. They are literally doing it wrong. And I can't even imagine the horror the little kids suffered back in the old days when sitting around the aforementioned fire to listen to the tales of the creatures and beings and monsters perhaps creeping into their homes early Christmas mornings. Not to bring treats and gifts, but to decide the child and the rest of the family's very fate in some cases. Let's start off with a legend I am all too familiar with, as I heard stories of her growing up from my maternal grandmother. It's a bit confusing, as the way I heard it, she was a Celtic goddess, but the more I research, the more I find my beloved grandmother might have been wrong. Here it is, guys, the 12 slayers of Christmas. Keep in mind, this is just for fun and not for educational purposes, so my research was less than extensive. Just calm down and have a good time, okay? Number 1, Perchta, goddess who came about during Alpine paganism in the Middle Ages. She could be called a kind of traditions police, as she went around making sure all of the traditions of the old days were being upheld properly in the homes that she visited. I guess technically the old days had old days too, so even way back in the Middle Ages kind of makes sense. She would roam around during the 12 days of Christmas and the 12th day especially, as this is when she made most of her visits. She would sneak into the homes all along and up and down the frozen countryside. She focused on specific occupants of the homes too, mainly the children and servants, and if she felt they had behaved and worked hard all year, she would reward them by quietly leaving a silver coin in one of their shoes. Thanks. However, If they had been lazy or if they constantly misbehaved, she would sneak in and slit their stomachs open while they slept and replace the guts with straw and pebbles. All the little girl had to do to get her death sentence was not spin all of her flax or wool for the season by the time Perkta showed up. Think about it. She basically turned these little kids and workers into stuffed dolls themselves. I wonder if she like left them under the tree with like a little bow. Also, if you ate anything other than the traditional fish and gruel on feast days, you were up for grabs. Basically, anything you did that wasn't traditional, you were getting the knife. Number 2, the Greek goblins. No, not the green goblin, even though he is awesome. I'm talking about Greek goblins because, hey, what would a scary story on my channel be without some sort of fae being? Allegedly, these little monsters lived underground for the entirety of the year, except when the 12 days of Christmas rolled around. Most versions of this particular Christmas legend had these fairies being more annoying and mischievous than anything else. They pull little pranks with the Christmas decorations and things like that. However, the Turkish legends are a bit different and a lot more horrifying. In Turkey, these goblins hang out at night in the street and ask random questions to just as random passerby. If the passerby gets the answer wrong, hint, the answer is always the word black, they're slaughtered right where they stand, right in the street. If they answer correctly, which they hardly ever do, because remember what great wordsmiths all fae are, including goblins, they're let go, but only for these little devils to return some later time when it's freezing cold out, and they would imitate the voices of the person's loved ones calling into the cold, dark night for some kind of help. They lure the person out in the hopes they will be lost and freeze to death. What fun! Number 3, the Christmas werewolves. The Prikolici, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, are Romanian werewolves of ancient lore, and they love Christmas. They love to roll around in the snow, as most wolves and even dogs do. But that's only when they aren't slaughtering people. Their uniqueness stems from the fact that they don't make another werewolf by biting their victims. I don't really believe werewolves make other werewolves by biting their victims either, but this was like in 4 or 5 different topics that I researched about these werewolves. I thought it had to be some curse or spell, but moving on. Oh, and also they're hairy, reanimated corpses of evil men who've committed violent crimes in their lives. They have this incredible and unquenchable thirst for blood even after their deaths, and so they become these werewolves. They just rip apart their victims limb from limb, and some legends say that they are most active during the 12 days of Christmas. The thing is, they can't be killed on the first try. The first time they are killed, they aren't werewolves anymore, but turned somehow to vampires. And then the third time, when they're killed as vampires, staked through the heart, head chopped off, burned, whatever. This is the way they are finally gotten rid of. Third time is the charm, and this is when their souls go to hell. This one I really don't know about, guys, but I'll leave you with a reminder that werewolf activity is said to increase during the Christmas season, perhaps roaming the woods and checking in on sick grandmothers with irresponsible and perpetually late granddaughters running around in little red capes everywhere. But see what I did there? Number 4 are the Yule lads of Iceland, and they're sometimes called the Christmas lads. Nowadays, as is usually the case, just ask the Brothers Grimm, a lot of the tales I'm recounting for you today have been changed into some Disneyfied version of the original, lulling us into a false sense of security and actually giving these terrifying legends more room to strike as they catch most of us off guard. This is one such tale, albeit a much milder example. In modern times, these Christmas or Yule lads mainly take the place or work right beside Santa, doing only good and making sure all the little boys and girls' presents arrive intact and on time. However, these lads are said to be the sons of 2 mountain trolls, again with the Fae. I swear I didn't do it on purpose. And they would terrorize the little children of the land if they had been naughty throughout the year, mainly with annoyances and pranks, but still, wait until you hear this one. Now, each of them had a different name, which basically coincided with what they did or what their job of terror was. My Icelandic is a bit rusty, so here are the English translations to the very best of my ability. Sheepcoat harassed the naughty sheep. Gully Gawk hides in gullies to sneak into the cowshed and steal all of the milk. Stubby, he's named that because he's the shortest one, guys. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter. He steals pans and eats leftover crust, so I guess it's like pie pans. A literal spoon licker. Why am I not surprised? Pot scraper steals the leftover from pots. Bowl licker, so disgusting and also obvious. Door slammer likes to wait until the middle of the night to do his little game and scare the little crap out of everyone in the house. Skyr Gobbler loves Icelandic dairy products and will do whatever it takes to get his grubby little hands on some. Doorway Sniffer uses his giant nose to sniff out more food. Meat Hook uses a hook to steal meat. And then there's Sausage Swiper, Window Peeper, and Candle Stealer. I'm going to gloss right over Window Peeper here because, you know, trying to keep it PG. But wait. Can we just go back to Doorway Sniffer here? Like, what the actual F? I wonder if he has another sniffing hobby in the house. Lock your personals up, ladies. The door sniffer has arrived. I just said I'm keeping it PG. There's a reason these little tricksters and all of their tomfoolery made my little list here tonight, and that's their companion, the Yule Cat. This disgusting, gigantic, and slobbering beast eats certain little kids for dinner and sometimes even swallows them whole. Which kids? No, not the naughty ones, because that would make too much sense. It actually eats the ones who do not receive clothing as gifts. I guess this is a way for parents to like rationalize to their children why they're receiving clothes instead of toys. Number 5 is Krampus. Well, here is one that I'm sure most of us here have heard of one legend or another about, and it's the infamous Krampus legend. With horns, fangs, and I'm pretty sure a split tongue, this guy could literally be our modern version of Santa Claus's evil twin. Most people know Krampus to be from Germany, but his legend stretches even further than that. He's also said to haunt the lands of Austria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovenia, and northern Italy. Jolly old St. Nicholas is mainly focused on doing good for the good children of the world. Krampus, however, is focused on the bad ones. Those kids that make you want to throat punch a random stranger's child in public without giving a crap. Like the little boy in the Dollar General last night that almost whacked me in the face with a roll of Batman wrapping paper while his mom stood by and giggled with a less than convincing, Nicholas, stop that. Then she looks at me smiling as though we mothers know a secret and this is perfectly normal. You know how kids are. No, bitch, I was a waitress for 15 years. Your kid's a brat and mine know better. Anyways, sorry, moving on. That's why I don't leave my house. The most hardcore versions of Krampus have him abducting these little badass kids in the middle of the night. Just creeps up into their bedrooms, tosses them into a sack, probably the same one our good Santa uses to put all of our presents in. And it depends who's telling the story, but they have a common theme with the children either being sent directly to hell, drowned, or even eaten. Number 6, The Wild Hunt. And I think I mentioned a little bit about this in my book, but the only way I could really describe it is by reading to you a little bit of a poem from someone whose name I can't pronounce. Quote, when the winter wind blow and the Yule fires are lit, it's best to stay indoors, safely shut away from the dark paths and the wild heaths. Those who wander out by themselves during the Yule nights may hear a sudden rustling through the tops of the trees, a rustling that might be the wind, though the rest of the wood is still. But the barking of dogs fills the air, and the host of wild souls sweeps down, fire flashing from the eyes of the black hounds and the hooves of the black horses. End quote. I cannot pronounce this guy's name, or this lady's name. Kevdolf Hagen Gunnarsson, Mountain Thunder. This one takes multiple forms all across Europe. Vikings thought it was led by Odin. Southern Europeans believed it was a crazy witch lady who babysat dead kids. Early Christian lore said it was a host of dead sinners and evildoers taking a vacation from hell, but everyone agreed the wild hunt was not for the eyes of mortals. To see it in person was a very bad omen. It could bring many different tragedies upon you, mainly involving the death of your loved ones. Really, just use your imagination and then pick the most horrific thing. P.S. The Wild Hunt was said by some to be led by number 1 on our list tonight, Perchta herself. Again, though, it depends who you ask. Number 7, Frau God. Frau God is only ever seen during the 12 days of Christmas and is said by some to have been one of the leaders of the aforementioned Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt, to the best of my very extensive research and knowledge, is a fairy tradition and a little bit different. I mentioned it in my book, but again, this is meant for fun, so calm the F down in the comments, okay? Frau God wandered the streets of German-speaking Europe, and if she saw a house with the door left open, she would send in one of her undead dogs. That's right, she had a whole pack of undead dogs. By the way, let's just put this public service announcement out there. The more you know. Bad idea to just leave your door open in general, especially if you're from a place where this crazy dog lady roams around and about on Christmas time. The dog would be impossible to send away with incessant whining and begging for food. So basically, like a real pet dog, in my opinion, I am not a dog person at all. If the homeowners decided to just kill the dog, as there was really no other way to get rid of it because the more you fed it, the more it seemed to want and whine and beg, again, just like a real dog, the body would turn to stone and its phantom would come back. It also brought bad luck to everyone who lived in the home for the rest of the year. Number 8, the Grither. Based on the episode Seasons of Belief from Tales from the Dark Side, the Grither is a monster who lives in the North Pole. Is it neighbors with Santa? Because I thought Santa was the only one who lived there. I have been lied to my entire life. Nobody told me there was a Grither in the North Pole. Just Santa and his elves. He has hands the size of basketballs and arms the size of well-fed boa constrictors. He is said to use his giant arms and hands to reach into people's homes, I guess through their windows, or maybe it's those idiots who still leave their doors open in the year 2021 when there's a crazy lady running around with undead dogs, and he squeezes their heads until they literally pop like bubbles or pimples, whatever. It's said the Grither was created by the fear, grief, and anger of a crew on a ship that got lost in the Arctic before they all died. So all of this energy, which I kind of believe, this could actually end up being a real thing. I'm going to have to research a little bit more. The Grither hates the sound of his own name. His victims aren't randomly chosen, but are the ones who speak his name out loud. Better sleep with my doors and windows locked up tight tonight, Oh, wait, that's what I always do in mid-December in northern New Jersey when it's freezing cold and there's snow on the ground. Also, it's almost 2022 and the world has gone insane, so you should never leave your doors and windows completely open when you're sleeping or not at home. The more you know. Number 9, Christmas is Coming by Gina L. Grandi. I couldn't figure out how to incorporate this one besides just putting it on the list. It's a poem I came across a few years ago while in the dentist's office and reading a magazine, and it stuck with me. It's just, I don't know. Here it is. Quote, each year I watch you sleep. I like that you are still and breathing and quiet, and it's a game to keep you that way. Sometimes I'll move closer, carefully, running a finger across your sleeve, touching my tongue to your hair, letting my beard brush your forehead. If I think you won't wake, I'll open a drawer. I'll press a thumb into the contents and smile that you will wear my touch, unknowing, on your bare skin. Maybe I'll open a closet. Maybe I'll move something on the dresser, just a little. Maybe you'll notice. I like that you might not. The cookies I'll eat because why not? I'll think about you slumbering in the other room and lick the crumbs from my fingers. I'll hold the plate on my lap, let it rest there. Eventually, I'll fill your stocking. Each gift I'll handle carefully, tenderly, before slipping it inside. I'll picture you in the morning, finding what I've left, and sometimes I'll have to pause to catch my breath. I'll think about this time last year and the year before. Each year is better than the last. Before I leave, I'll take a last look at you. I might whisper to you. I might lean close to your face and breathe hot into your ear. Merry Christmas. See you next year. Ho, ho, ho. And number 10, Santa Claus himself. I know I've been cracking a lot of jokes and having a lot of fun with this one, guys, but that was kind of on purpose. There are so many terrifying things in the world. I kind of wanted to do a creepy Christmas video while still keeping the magic of it in it for myself. See, I was reignited this year when my toddler, who's now 3.5, is having his first year where he actually understands about Santa and gifts and Christmas. I've been able to just yell Santa and look up at the sky whenever he has given me a hard time in the past 3 months. See, he understands when I tell him that Santa sees, hears, and knows everything. But that brought me, of course, because I am who I am, to a very horrific and terrifying thought. Am I traumatizing my already sensitive child with telling him these things? Think about it. Do you guys know that a lot of parents stop telling their young children about Santa altogether? Why? Well, think about it like this. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. In this community, especially, we should know how dangerous someone like this could be. Am I right? He knows if you've been bad or good. So basically, he's a stalker that could possibly be watching us in our most intimate moments. Quote, be good for goodness sake, end quote. Well, that just sounds like a flat out threat to me. How about telling kids, quote, you better watch out, end quote. I mean, that's got to be terrifying if you really think about it. This man sneaks into your house and eats your food. He wasn't very good to poor Rudolph either, if you remember in the movies, until he needed something from him. So imagine how he treats other people's animals. Watch your cats and dogs, folks. That's all I have for you today, guys. Please be sure and give this video a big thumbs up. If you celebrate Christmas or any other December holiday, I really hope that you have a happy one, a merry one. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year, whatever it is that you're celebrating, okay? So don't get offended. I love you guys, and I hope you have a really good one.
1 second, and I'll get this off the screen. Look at that. See what I watch. 1 second. I'll stop sharing. There we go. We get small again. There we go. There's Uso. How you doing, Uso? He's on the other stream. I call it the phone stream. How you doing, Uso? I hope you are well. Long time no talk, sir. Now, I don't know if you heard the beginning of this. Good luck with that, yeah. Tell me about it. But yeah, so you guys know, and you can pass the word around. I did say some things in the beginning. I was pretty much by myself, so I was just babbling. But there will be no more Wednesday streams, at least for now, for a while, until I figure out my throat. What's happening is the Barrett's esophagus is getting worse again, and I got to go in. I'm waiting for them to call now to get me in and get it looked at, and then we're gonna let me get rid of this. So it's because I'm not showing anything. Okay, and then maybe I'll go back over here 1 second. Anyways, so the deal is what's happening. So I'm just waiting for the doctor to call so we know how to tackle this. The Barrett's esophagus has got so bad, it's kind of spreading, and it will only go so far, but it's affecting my vocal cords, and it's affecting my speech and my throat, and because it's all caused by acid reflux. So they don't really want me talking a whole lot. So usually by this time, I either sound like I got gravel in my mouth, excuse me, or I'm just babbling, and it's really, I'm trying to talk, and stuttering gets really crazy, and it's just crazy. So we're just trying to figure out how to approach this. Before the show, I take something that dissolves in my mouth, and what it does is it burns, and then it doesn't burn, but my throat gets to burning, and then it feels like gravel in my throat. So it makes it hard to talk. Plus, my esophagus tends to kind of swell up, and that's the breathing. So kind of messes with me, and I'll probably pay for this a little bit afterwards, but it won't be half as bad as it's been. Usually by mid-afternoon, evening, I'm either stuttering, or I sound like I got gravel in my mouth, or I can barely get words out. It's just insane. So I will keep doing Gemma's replays because I play longer videos. I don't have to talk as much, and it's pretty much for you guys anyways. And then when she comes back, which will be around the new year, we're going to be doing entertainment stuff. We'll be talking a little bit about everything, but more focused on paranormal. She wants to do missing cases and like true crime. So we're going to try to hit the gambit, kind of see where she goes with it. Oh, I'm actually good right now. It just tastes nasty. Boy, I had to smoke. Sometimes I hate to do it. I try to have my last cigarette with it because it's nasty. It's nasty. It kind of tastes like sour milk. It's gross. Now let me see what Uso said here. I just found this. Yeah, I'm okay. I've been needing to get to, but I've been putting it off. Probably won't be able to do that too much longer. Yeah, that one, that probably won't be able to do that too much longer. Oh yeah, and putting it off. Well, we're here. She's still doing the Tuesday streams, and then we'll all be back hopefully at the beginning of the year with some new content. Just make sure you folks hit her shorts and comment and keep liking them. I've been so crazy. I've been just trying to just at least heart them because I've been go. Every time I try to do something, I get it wrong, or I start having the other issues. Tremors have been off and on. So, but that's enough of the medical crap. I just wanted you guys to know and public to know. So when I'm with Gemma and streams, I don't talk a whole lot or say a whole lot. It's not her, it's me. That's just trying to keep it, simple for me. Yeah, I know a lot of people miss the card pools, but she's done with it, I think. And it's for her best interests, really. But you never know with Gemma, so let me look for another chat room. Oh, you're fine. There's only two. Yeah, Usa's in the other chat. It's weird to have two streams, but it's nice because it works out because she got, even when I did one a couple of weeks ago, I got pretty good views from both sides, so I can't complain. At least the replays of the replays gets replays. Now I may do another one here because it's only 12:40. I'm only do shows on Saturdays now for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how I feel. So, but yeah, I love seeing everybody here. If everybody would like to see another replay, let me know. I've got them right here in front of me. I can pull one up. I try to keep them at least 2 years or older. So if you'd like me to play another one, let me know. Oops. See, it's starting to get a little crazy now. And I'll throw on another one. Now, Merry Scary Christmas. That was from 12/25. That was Christmas in 2021. Yeah, let's see if I can find another nice little one. I don't know if she ever did another Christmas one or not. I'm looking. Your catalog's pretty full. Would you like a true crime? Yes, so you found the other chat. Would you like to do another true crime? Hey, Rainwater, thank you. Good to see you. I know I haven't been around lately. I've had issues, but good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate that very much. But let me see if I can find another one. Do you guys want to see true crime, missing, or paranormal? Somebody give me an idea. She's got a little bit of everything here now. Let me see what I can find. The shocking case of Candy Jones, a model and mind control sleeper. You want to watch that one? Or you want UFO, paranormal? Okay. Let's see what we can find. Let's see. Already did the 7 nights. Let's see. About mirrors as portals and haunted mirrors. Does that sound good to everybody? It's about a half hour. Or the haunted underwater ghost town in New Jersey, Round Valley Reservoir. Or 1, 2. What's a good third one? Doppelgangers. What are they? What do they want? Encounters. That one's 45 minutes. I'll save that for next week. I'll have to mark that. Marked. Okay, let's do what I did say. Who is it? Mirrors and portals. That sounds like a good one too. It's 30 minutes. And let me hook it up. Because let me get it up here. Oops. There we go. And if you folks are ready, I'll pop it on the screen. I will be in chat once I get this rolling. Bear with me here a sec. Share. Move me down to the bottom. Hide me. Make it big. There you go. And we'll get this baby rocking. Any sound troubled, let me know, please. And let's get it going.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing haunted mirrors. As I was researching into this subject, I kept going back and forth, wondering if you all would like this topic and whether or not it was really a relevant discussion for us to be having. I came to the conclusion that the topic is always relevant because, for the most part at least, we all have at least one mirror in our home, and there are mirrors literally everywhere we go. Think about it. Even if they aren't immediately noticeable, there is almost always at least a mirror in the bathroom of any building that you enter or go into. With that being said, I have a long-standing issue with mirrors myself, and I'm currently dealing with 2 mirrors at my mother's house that have demonic attachments, with one of them having been taken over by an actual jinn. If you don't know what a jinn is, please see my videos on the jinn and shadow people. And also, I wrote a whole book on shadow entities and sleep paralysis, and there's an entire chapter dedicated to that specific entity. I don't think an average everyday person really grasps and understands just how mirrors can be used to create portals as tools in spells and rituals, both the good and bad kind, for lack of better words there, and just all of the many, many ways that they are tools for supernatural entities on all sides of the vibrational spectrum to get to us. It's really overwhelming when you get to the heart of it. Mirrors can be extremely dangerous if you don't know what you're doing or what you're dealing with. And I thought the best way for me to show you all that was to bring the discussion about it to life right here in this video. For as long as mirrors have existed, and that's obviously for a very long time, they've had all kinds of legends, lore, superstitions, and alleged curses attached to them. When used properly, they are a portal to the spirit realm or the other side. But unless you are knowledgeable and skilled in how to properly use them for those purposes, you're putting yourself at risk for great danger and for all sorts of bad things to happen to you. Guys, the ancient Romans even believed that mirrors would mirror a person's soul right back to them, and that they were able to bring great discord and strife into the person's life if they were misused. So many cultures throughout the ages and all across the globe, believe in similar things, and that mirrors have a myriad of other supernatural, lower vibrational qualities, such as, and these are only a few in a list that's incomprehensibly long, sucking out a person's soul, being portents of death, and even glimpsing into other dimensions, as well as possibly traveling to and from other dimensions. I have to say, they weren't wrong, and all of these things and so many more are completely accurate when it comes to misusing mirrors for supernatural purposes. There are also many cultures that purposely use mirrors to communicate with the spirit realm and individually chosen spirits as well. Mirrors are one of the many barriers between the world of the living and the dead, and one of the things that separates us from them and holds the so-called veil everyone is always talking about. And speaking of the veil, mirrors serve as a way to basically walk right through it, so to speak. So, could it be that all of these old legends and ancient superstitions are why so many people, myself included, have claimed to have come across, at least at one point in their life, haunted mirrors? Or is it possible that all of the legends and myths about them are true, and it's more than likely that they really are wreaking havoc all over the world because they're so closely aligned with and give access to restless spirits and other lower vibrational, evil, and possibly even demonic entities? I'm obviously going to go with yes and all of the above on that one, but that could just be because I know it to be true as an absolute fact. But what about the skeptics? Do they kind of have a point here? Listen to these stories of allegedly haunted mirrors and let me know what conclusion you've drawn and what you all think at the end of it. Let's jump right in. There are many instances throughout history of supernatural beings and entities gravitating towards mirrors, mainly for many of the above mentioned reasons, and those entities take many forms. So one of the most commonly reported types of experiences that are reported regarding mirrors are people saying they see shapes and figures in the mirror's reflection. Random figures, shadow figures, a wide array of apparitions, and the list goes on, including people and entities being reflected in the mirror that aren't in the room with the humans who are looking into it and seeing these things. So extra people, that creeps me out. Mirrors creep me out. And I know a lot of you feel the exact same way because we've talked about it before. I don't like looking in mirrors. You wouldn't believe the things I've seen. And normal, average, everyday people see the same things. I just don't think they realize that that's what it is. Like, they try to convince themselves that there's a reasonable or rational explanation to why their face just distorted and morphed and it looked like a hand was reaching out to them. Maybe they're having a breakdown, you know? There are too many reports of that type of phenomenon to list here today, but let's at least take a look at one case in particular that I found very interesting. On the site Quora, I found a commenter named S.D.N.Y who claims to be a spiritual advisor, and what she said happened to one of her clients will blow your mind if this isn't something you were aware of or something that you've never experienced. I'll let her tell it. She said about the situation, quote, "One of my cases, a young woman loved mirrors. She would go to yard sales, estate sales for unusual mirrors. One day she found an old, beautiful mirror from ceiling to floor. She had a sensation that something was trying to get her attention until one day she was looking out the window and said, 'Show yourself to me and talk.'" This was a bad no-no to say the least. Her family started arguing, getting sick, as well as the pets. Things started moving or disappearing. At that point, she contacted me. When I went in, I found out through psychometry, a form of tool/technique to communicate with spirit. We found out that the person who owned it was a very negative, very vain human being. When this person passed away, the mirror was sold to my client, and the negative energy and spirit of this person was still attached to the mirror. When my client said what she said to the mirror, she released the energy/spirit into her home. The spirit fed off of the negative energy becoming stronger, which allowed it to then become a poltergeist. I had to do a cleansing on the whole family, the pets, the home, and most of all, trap the spirit within the mirror again through a technique. After the cleansing, the mirror was thrown away properly so it couldn't ever be used again. Once that was done, the family, the pets, and the home were back to normal and healthy again. End quote. Yeah, you don't invite things in. That's like when you're using a Ouija board, and I say this all the time, you don't say, "If you're here, give us a sign." Believe it or not, that is inviting whatever entity is attached to that board. Good, bad, ugly, worser. I don't know. Whatever entity is attached, that's an invitation. I know a lot of people, it's like really hard to comprehend, but it's true. I promise. I promise. So this is incredibly common. And whether she knows it or not, that client is a sensitive. She was able to immediately do it just by talking. Like I said, most people can, but this does seem to be a pretty extreme case. When I say it's common, though, that doesn't mean that most people are aware of it, because usually they're not. And then they have to call in someone like Destiny or someone like me to help them out and remove the spirit or do whatever we need to do. We have to get them out of the trouble they get themselves into, because people don't take seriously the fact that words have so much power. Human beings use speech to communicate with one another and somewhat take words for granted, not really understanding the power that they have. I always advise all of you to choose your words carefully and wisely, because what you put out into the universe in deed and in word will boomerang right back at you. So make sure you speak positively to the best of your ability. It's not possible all the time, I know. So before you attack me in the comments, I already know that, okay? Oh yeah, and don't go inviting things into your home or giving them access to you if you have no idea what type of entity you're dealing with. Cleansings and removals can really add up financially, not to mention the toll it takes on you. If you sense a spirit is attached to something, get in touch with someone who can help you. And if you feel a negative vibe at all, just get rid of it. That's it.
In our next case, there is some sort of either shadow person or demon attached to the mirror that was using it as a portal to go between worlds and between realms. Our witness was in his bedroom one night and just happened to glance over at the full-length mirror he had in there, and he saw a dark figure wearing black clothing and what he described as, quote, a Quaker hat, end quote. And the figure didn't only lurk inside of the mirror, but when it was noticed, it stepped out of the mirror and into the guy's bedroom. I know there are probably some skeptics who are watching this and who think it's silly, but let me just say, I have experienced this and seen the same thing happen more times than I can count. And believe it or not, there are times when a portal spontaneously opens and a human could actually step through to the other side as well. That doesn't usually happen because the human doesn't know that they can step inside. People have seen visions of other worlds in their mirrors and have gone through to them. It doesn't ever end well, or usually doesn't end well, so just be aware of that. Anyway, our witness said of what happened to him as reported by someone else, quote, the being was wearing a long black cloak and a Quaker hat. He had glowing red eyes. He floated along the floor 3 inches above the ground. No feet could be seen. Yet he was present in a total physical 3-dimensional form. The man who I am talking about was fully awake. This was no dream. The being asked the man if he would like to join them. The being was meant to be the man's spirit guide for life. In return, the man would receive all the material things that he could ever wish for, fame as a movie star, immense riches, the girl for his wife, everything that he had been programmed to desire. The being with the Quaker hat used the mirror as a portal. A portal is an unseen vortex that connects 2 places through time and space, and even dimensions or other realities or timelines, end quote. First of all, the thing asked it to join them. There was more than one, and this was more than likely demonic. So that was someone else telling the witness's story in case it was confusing for you all like it was for me. Unfortunately, this report ends there, and there's not any information to tell us what happened next and how this all ended up, if it ended at all. I mean, who knows? Maybe he accepted the guy's offer, right? The demon's offer. Who knows? I hate when that happens. I will say, though, a lot of the times when you see a spirit, some kind of entity, people always report that it's floating. It's a few inches above the ground. That's because it's not really here. It's still vibrating in the other realm. It's like half in, half out. It can't land. Does that make sense? Here's the thing, guys. When something just seems evil, or feels evil and has glowing red eyes, and it offers you everything you've ever wanted and claims to be your spirit guide, run as fast as you can. And I mean that too, in the most literal sense. Spirit guides do not approach anyone in the real world. They only approach astrally unless they're called in. Also, they vibrate so high that they are shrouded in white or golden light. They don't offer you, they never will offer you everything you've ever wanted because they aren't allowed to even get involved unless you invite them to. And that's on the basis of each individual case. So if you want to be rich or famous, the guide might be able to bring a few opportunities your way so that you have an easier chance of obtaining the goal as you work hard towards it. But they aren't in a position to just hand you everything you've ever wanted, no questions asked. I believe that mirror in particular was a portal to hell, and that's exactly where this man's soul would have ended up had he agreed to that arrangement. The devil and demons always make too good to be true offers, and that's just what they are. There's always a catch, and the catch is normally your eternal soul. Now, I don't know anything about this man or his life, but I would be willing to bet one of 2 things have happened here to have caused this. Number 1, he innocently came across a mirror that was cursed and already made to have been a portal to hell. Or 2, he somehow, whether accidentally or on purpose, invited this thing in. But we'll never know because the information I have ends right at the end of that quote. Frustrating, I know, but when all I really have to go on is the internet to get my information, that's the best that I can do. So let's move on. Our next witness just randomly started suffering with terrifying nightmares, and they were so incredibly vivid, he thought that they were real. Finally, he discovered what was really going on and where it was all generating from. He said it all started when he moved into a house that had an inordinate number of mirrors in the bedroom he had chosen as his. While the nightmares and sleep terrors were happening, he was also glimpsing shadowy figures and other very frightening entities walking around inside of all of the mirrors when he was the only one in the room. He started to believe that those same entities that he was seeing were purposely attacking him by releasing negative energy into his life. He said, quote, the nightmare started when we moved into a house with mirrors covering the closet in the master bedroom. The mirrors were an open portal to other dimensions. I knew from feng shui that one should not have mirrors in the bedroom because it causes restless energy. I realize now that mirrors do more than just increase the energy in a room. They let in evil spirits. We were renting, and because the mirrors were on folding doors of the closet, I couldn't work out how to cover them and didn't realize at the time how important it was that I do so. Then a year later, when we moved into another house, the one we were at the time of the writing, I hoped that the nightmares would stop. They didn't stop. This time, while there were no mirrors in the bedroom, the idiots who designed the house did not put a door between the bedroom and the bathroom, just an open arch. Since we were renting, there wasn't much, though, that I could do. Part of the large vanity mirror looked almost directly into the bedroom, and I ignored the part of my mind that told me it was important to do something about that. Once I realized that the bathroom mirror was letting something in that was causing my nightmares, I had two choices: cover up the mirror or put Bible verses on it, similar to the way the mezuzahs protect doorways, end quote. So he kept on having the same issues. And you know, everything he said is absolutely correct, but there's something I picked up here that he doesn't seem to realize, and that's that you or someone else, and with or without your knowledge, had to have done something to open those portals. So the odds that it would be randomly happening to him in two separate homes is astronomically high. What I believe is perhaps the man accidentally invited something to him because of his mention of feng shui. Now, feng shui in and of itself isn't a bad thing, and it really does help you make the most of your space as far as energy and energetic flow is concerned. But what I will say is he may have also been participating in or just researching into other forms of energetic work and inadvertently gained himself several lower vibrational entities and or attachments that like to make use of the mirrors as portals at night. Believe it or not, even yoga can bring things to you that you don't want there if not done properly, and if someone is careless in minding their thoughts or just in the practice of it in general. You have to be just as careful with your thoughts as you should be with your words. That's right. Thoughts, my friend, are just as powerful as words. While this also doesn't have a proper ending, I don't think just covering the mirrors up is going to work for him at that point, because I believe the entities have gained strength and are attached to him now and not the mirrors anymore, because otherwise, how did they travel with him? And I know someone's going to say they traveled through the mirrors. It just doesn't work that way. I think, of course, that's where they came from in the first place. They came from the mirrors, but there's no way they would have followed him if there wasn't an attachment. And at that point, using Bible verses might help, but it also might serve as a way to piss them off even more and make them start attacking him while he's awake. However, I digress because we were not given any more information to go on. So I'll just say I wish him and whoever lives in the house with him tons of luck. Good luck. From the now defunct site Pagans and Witches comes another encounter of something terrifying happening in regards to a mirror. A woman said she and her sister moved into a house with a lot of paranormal activity. They did not know that the home was haunted when they moved into it. There was shadowy apparitions, shadow people, light bulbs, and other electronics exploding for seemingly no reason, aberrant doors slamming and opening on their own all the time, disembodied voices and footsteps, horrific odors, and so much more that was happening in that home at any given time. The woman who reported all of this said that she eventually concluded the place was haunted and decided to move out because she was to the point where she couldn't even sleep alone in her bedroom at night anymore in that house. She believes she figured out the cause of all of the activity when she was gathering her belongings to pack up and move. It was, according to her, an, quote, old haunted mirror, end quote, in the attic that had been there all along and that neither of them had given a second thought to when they first saw it there upon moving in. The site reported, quote, the time finally came for Sally to move out. She began by moving all of her furniture into the family home. A lot of the furniture belonged to both my grandparents and the previous tenants. One of these was a big, beautiful oval mirror with a white frame. It was being stored in our hallway for the time being, along with some other furniture. One day I was sitting in my living room when I heard a loud crash. Sally, who already had moved in, and I went into the hall where my father was standing at the end. What happened? I asked. The mirror broke, he said. It just collapsed. The mirror had fallen on its own whilst he was in another room, he said. He took it outside and placed it in the trash. Then he came back in and asked Sally if she wanted to keep the frame. I found this too, he said, behind the glass. It was a news article from 1985 about some football match. The whole article, however, was written in Italian. That's when Sally remembered Scopata. I asked her where the mirror had come from. Did it belong to our grandparents, a previous tenant, or did she buy it herself? I found it in the attic, she said. I took it down and painted it and hung it in my room. My father told us it belonged to the mother of the last tenant. Let's call her Maria. Maria loved to go traveling the world and had accumulated a lot of stuff from a lot of different places. She had asked her son, the previous tenant, if she could store some of her stuff in his attic, but she forgot to take some of it back. The mirror was one of those things, end quote. That was a lot, and I honestly have no idea what to make of all of that. Maybe you all could tell me. She thinks the mirror was the cause of it all, but why? Because it was old? If it was so haunted and causing all of the paranormal activity, then why did she keep the frame in the end? Could she really have not known that keeping that would just help the activity to continue? Yes, the portal would have been closed, but there's still risk for attachment with keeping the frame. And I added this story just to show you all that it isn't always the mirror's fault. And the activity in the house sounded more to me like either poltergeist activity, which normally is not caused by mirrors, or it could have been one of the sisters themselves who were spontaneously activating. And because most people don't know what that is, what it looks like, or what it's all about, things could start to get a little crazy. Could the mirror have been haunted? Sure. But more than likely, that wasn't the case in this particular situation. However, I will say that I wouldn't recommend keeping anything at all that's found in an attic that doesn't belong to you or someone you know, because you never ever know who the person who owned it before was or what they were all about. I am personally and have always been attracted to vintage and antique things, but I'm lucky enough that I can always tell what's going on with something just by laying my hands on it and concentrating with my spirit eyes. Unfortunately, most of the population aren't that lucky, and yard sales and thrift stores are the #1 places where people end up obtaining haunted or demonically possessed items, estate sales as well. In fact, most paranormal investigators and other types of professionals in the paranormal field will always suggest you not keep these types of things, mirrors specifically, to keep this sort of thing from happening in the first place. It's the better safe than sorry mentality. So there's a report I found in Supernatural magazine that has a witness who claimed that his experience happened at a bed and breakfast in upstate New York that was built in 1845, and it advertises as and is very well known for being haunted. So he went there purposefully knowing he would more than likely encounter something. The witness said that there is a mirror in the place that is also very well known for having supernatural happenings and all sorts of paranormal phenomenon surrounding and attached to it. When talking about the mirror, the witness told the magazine, quote, "The mirror in question here is an old Victorian style, which just happened to come from an old Victorian home just down the street from the hotel. The owners of the mirror had been having strange things happen. Odd lights would come in and out of the mirror, and they would see unknown faces gazing back at them. Growing more and more uncomfortable with these unusual sights, it was decided to take the mirror down the street and see if the owners of the hotel would like to give it a good home. The antique was donated to the hotel and was hung in a place of honor in what is known to be the most haunted room in the building. The beautiful Victorian antique was placed on top of an old dresser, which was already in the room. It was decided that they would just leave the mirror to its own devices and wait to see what, if anything, happened, without mentioning it to their guests. It didn't take long before the mirror started to show signs of strange activity. Things began to happen, small at first with odd balls of light moving about the edges, until over time the energy began to increase and what appeared to be faces started to appear, end quote. So a group of about 6 guests then proceeded to the haunted room to try our luck with the art of mirror divination. The first volunteers to step up had some success when the reflections seemed to change as their faces appeared to get older. After a few minutes, someone suggested, "Willie, why don't you give it a try?" I had never tried anything like this before and immediately agreed to take my turn. Only a few minutes had passed before changes began to take place. The first thing that occurred was that my hair, which was very long at the time, seemed to be getting shorter, and my face began to transform into female features. As I stood motionless in front of the mirror with 5 witnesses seated on the bed to my left, the strange transformation proceeded. Over the next few minutes, the image of my reflection made the change from a 58-year-old man to that of a young teenage girl. Everyone in the room was fascinated with the strange image in the mirror as the young girl became more and more clear, but no one was prepared for what would happen next. Everyone was sitting quietly transfixed on the image while I stood motionless, staring straight into the mirror, not moving a muscle. Suddenly, the image of the young girl turned and looked straight at the people on the bed, and the mouth began to move as if trying to talk to them. It was at this point when some of the group became very uncomfortable and started to leave. The session then came to an end when the face disappeared, end quote. Yeah, the mirror was feeding off of the energy of the people, of the living people in the room there with it. So this guy decides, and this is why my face looked the way it did while I was reading that. This guy decides it's a good idea to get a bunch of people together to go into that room and try some divination in the mirror. And this is a very commonly used practice, but it should only be done by professionals only. And that he and his buddies had no business dabbling in, but okay, let's see how it turned out for them. What they basically did was try and communicate with whatever was lurking and living in the mirror and what was possibly causing all or most of the activity surrounding the thing. Now, to be clear, the hotel is said to have several child spirits and at least one mobster roaming around in it. It is New York, even if it's upstate. Just because the spirits belong to the building or the land or not to the mirror doesn't mean they can't use the mirror as a way to communicate with or terrorize the living, depending on that spirit's individual energy. There are many people who thought that some of the spirits in the hotel were using the mirror as a gateway to access the hotel, meaning they didn't come from the land. So basically, this guy didn't know who or what he was going to be coming into communication with and decided to do the mirror divination anyway. This is something that really, really makes me angry. And it's one of the main reasons why, at least for the most part, I do not ever watch any of the ghost hunting shows on the TV. They got together and came up with a plan to do a divination technique to contact the ghosts and spirits and apparently whatever else was roaming around the area, and they went and they did it. I'm on a bit of a rant, but you have to understand how terrible this is, what they did. Once they actually got a result, they got uncomfortable and they left. How do you think, just think for a minute, how do you think that teenage girl felt being abandoned by the first people maybe in centuries to have noticed her? Granted, maybe they weren't dealing with a teenage girl, but how would they know? They couldn't hear her, true, but they could have given her another means of communication. If you're going to go that far, don't go that far and abandon ship the minute you get what you set out to get. What if she was a demonic entity and had attached herself to one of them? I mean, it just goes to show that unless you're a professional and know what you're doing, you shouldn't be messing around with these types of things. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I know it sounds spooky and it sounds exciting, but the consequences could be deadly or at the very least life-altering in the worst possible way. Totally not worth it. I don't know what became of that guy or his friends either. And since they didn't mention which bed and breakfast it was, and there are many in upstate New York, I don't know if they pulled anything else into the property while conducting their little amateur hour ritual either. Let's hope for the sake of the owners, the people that work there, and the other guests that they didn't bring anything demonic or anything like that in, because it seems like it was like kind of a friendly haunting. It is haunted. You see orbs of light, you see things in the mirrors, but it wasn't that terrible. Skeptics have all kinds of things they'll think up and say to try to make a case for why it's ridiculous to think that mirrors are portals or anything other than average and everyday items. But I think that sort of thinking is ridiculous. In my own experience, it's been proven time and time again that mirrors are, at the very least, portals to other dimensions and realms. You don't even have to be someone with abilities or a professional to know that, and just need to do a simple internet search on the phenomenon to see all of the evidence for yourself. But skeptics always have a field day with the paranormal community because they point to the lack of evidence as evidence of lack. And to me, that's absolutely ludicrous, and it's a dangerous way of thinking. Let me know what you all think about all of this in the comments below, please. That's all I have for you today, guys. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed hanging out with me, and if you enjoyed hanging out with each other in the premiere. I was getting very passionate there in the middle. So, yeah, sorry about that. Spread the love by sharing this video. Don't forget, I'm doing shorts now, mainly Oracle. So go on over and get your minute love reading for September. The first week of September I've done already. So let me know what you all think about that too. Just remember, they're new to me. I'm awkward. I'm nervous. So be nice, okay? On Wednesday nights, you will find myself and Ghostdragonzw right here on this channel at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time until 11 p.m. Eastern time, doing
Once that, be right back. There we go. Let me get myself small again. I'm going to go over here and get on YouTube here so I can see you guys. And I really don't need to now because I'm in chat. I'm right here. So I didn't know that you can buy all chocolate pops. Yeah, you can. I didn't know either. And then I saw a bag. Actually, there was a place north of here, a candy store. It's a big place. And they actually sell Tootsie Rolls like bags of all cherry, all lemon. It's kind of cool. But yeah, you can buy them. As soon as I turn the replay, that's all right. I'm about ready to stop for the night. Anyways, I'm going to go here a couple more minutes. Excuse me, guys. And we'll go from there because I don't want to push it. Like I said, I got to keep them short. So let me, yeah, that's good. Sorry. Yeah, the chocolate pops are so good. My oldest brother gives away a $20 lottery ticket in the Christmas cards. Oh, really? Yeah, this guy at work, he cracks me up. When I did work, when I worked for Airwaves, he would come in with handfuls of them, and he would hand everybody like 3 different types of lottery tickets. One year, this guy won $1,000. One year, I won 50, and if anybody else won, they kept it quiet. But yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's a hit or miss thing to get it. But I think that's pretty cool. But $20 lottery ticket, you better hit something. Usually you hit something on most of those. At least something. From what I've told. I've never played the big ones. I think the biggest one I played was a $10 one. Basically got my $10 back. That's what I did. 1 chocolate, 1 cherry, and 1 mix. There you go. That's what you do. My kids, all 3 of my kids loved lollipops and blow pops, and Sammy really liked blow pops. Giles was a blow pop guy. They all liked their Tootsie Roll Pops. Have you seen the cake pops yet? Those are pretty good, but it's like a piece of cake in one bite. And then you want another one. And they're expensive too. Now the cheesecake ones are pretty good too. I've seen those. I think I sent some to Gemma once. She whoops those down. I made a lemon one that short stick. There was only 3 in a bag. The lemon ones are my favorite. And even in the Dum Dums, those are one of the few ones you get is the lemons. You only get a handful of them. I like the lemons, the root beers. And then I like the mystery one. You never know what you're going to get. So I've gotten some pretty gross ones. It's like I put it in my, I don't like that. Next, please. I still have some. That's what I've been, if I'm not using my fume, I'm during a day, but I'm not using it. I just had it. I just had it. Oh man, I put it down again. Anyways, if I'm not using my fume, that's what I usually, a Dum Dum. I love my Dum Dums. I figured the kids would pick them last. I don't know. A lot of kids like that lemon. So you better hope none of them are watching this because now they know. You're giving it away. Got just one streak of black hair. It's starting to all go away now. I was washing my hair earlier and That gray hair is really, it's always been there ever since I got scared. But man, it's really starting to take back over again. It's starting to come back. I'm glad I earned it. No, they're just too young for that. That's true. Unless one of the parents sees this. Who knows? I don't know who watches me. I'm just glad I get after views because it does help Gemma. This is one of the reasons why I do this is for Gemma. She's going through a lot, and that poor woman right now is sick. I feel bad for her. So, those who come in later and watch the stream, please, help her out, support the channel, donate. All the links are in the description. CashApp, PayPal, and even mine's in there. I saw her on Facebook. She's doing pretty good, I guess. I haven't talked to her. I have to go back. Ever since my Facebook page got screwed up, I just haven't bothered with trying to replace people that disappeared because I got things unblocked. And like I said, during the Finasco, and I don't know if I ever resent her a friend request or not. I may try again. I do miss her too. I miss seeing her too. I do think about her. I still pray for her because I know she was going through a lot there with the pain. So yeah, she's always in my thoughts. Yeah, they may see it. Yeah, so don't let them see it. You just gave it. I can't delete it either for you. So if they watch the chat with it, a lot of people just watch the replays and then don't even look at the chat. So you may be safe. But I do want to thank everybody that's popped in and out and watched the replay, the 2 replays. I will be here next Saturday. Like I said, we will return on Friday nights at 8 o'clock, I believe, too. Sometime around the new year. We're going to do paranormal, maybe some fun stuff, some critiquing of videos and stuff like that. And maybe get into she wants to get back into the true crime and the missing cases and stuff like that. So we're going to try to mix it up. She was on one of them. I got deleted. Yeah, she was. Her, Julie Farrell, but somehow she popped back up. And a couple other people, yeah. I kind of bummed out. Yeah, they probably will go for the chocolate first. They always do. Chocolate pops. Yeah, they'll probably definitely go for those first. Yeah, I think this time they took away 6 people. Now, a couple of those people I don't really talk to anymore. Or I really don't see their posts, and I don't see them around. So, but yeah, I'm going to probably have to resend her a friend request. Because, yeah, I do miss her. I thought I did on all the people that did disappear. But like I said, some of them pop back up like a couple of days later without me sending friend requests. So I don't know, maybe Facebook tried to fix what they did. I have no idea. But she wasn't one of them. Now, I have seen her leave comments for Gemma. So her and Gemma are talking. That's good. But I do miss her. I hope she is well. But that incident almost made me leave Facebook again. I was so livid. They do this crap to me. Now, the first time I was on Facebook, I understood because I was kind of causing trouble. But this time I've been a good boy. Yeah, just send out new requests. I may have to. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Crack. How about one on that? There we go. There we go. That's weird. The screen didn't clear. What's that? Sorry about that. Ooh, it's getting gargly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably end up. I'm gonna sit down and write everybody that's missing and just resend quests to the ones I think that are worth it. If you can remember their last names. If you type it in, if you go to search. No, no, I'd if. Oh, excuse me. So sorry about that. I'm surprised Mark hasn't sent me a new request yet. Mark's interesting. He was one I lost, so I'll probably resend him a new friend request. He probably mad at me. And it wasn't me; it was because of Facebook. But man, like I said, it's been crazy here. That's why I had to stop doing Wednesdays because I was getting up, trying to stay up with hang out with you guys because I loved the Wednesdays. And then the doctor said, "Man, you got to slow down on your voice for a while." Edna Pike. Yep, that's it. And the doctor said, "You got to slow down until we figure this out and how to fix it, if we can fix it." So I do miss the other stream. It's a little more casual, a little more fun. As you can see, after a while, it starts taking a toll on me. But I love doing this. I'm going to miss when that, if I can't, and it gets worse, I'm like, I can't fix it. I'll hang around as long as I can. It's just hard to stream when you can't talk. You can hold signs. Give me a whiteboard. I got one. I just don't think that's the way to communicate. I can do that in chat. Well, Cindy, I think I'm going to call it. Starting to kick in. And for everybody, have a very Merry Christmas and good holidays. I'm lying down, but happy to show up. Okay. Everybody have a wonderful, you take care, Uso. Everybody have a wonderful holidays and a Merry Christmas. Yes, I said both. And if you celebrate, have a wonderful week. I will be here next Saturday, as far as I know, as long as there are no complications. If I'm not here, just know it's because of my voice. And I'll start leaving messages on Facebook, or I'll put a YouTube short up or something. Have a wonderful week. Have a Merry Christmas. Blah, blah, blah. Here I go again, repeating myself. Much love to you all. Thank you for showing up. Enjoy your week. Enjoy each other. And make the best of it. And you will see me on the flip side, hopefully. And much love to you all. You guys mean a lot. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for popping in. And those who watch the replay, thank you. Much appreciated. Have a wonderful week and have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Good night, everybody. Good night, Cindy. Good night, Uso. Latra, if you're popping in and out, you have a Merry Christmas too, because you've been around. I missed you tonight. Have a good one. I will. I'll take care of myself. Good night. Be blessed.